Good morning, Chris. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Chris is the one of the founding partners of Channel Wealth Management, a financial advisory company in Santa Barbara, California, and a longtime friend and associate. So we're excited to have you give us your wisdom today. In this interview, we're going to use that roadmap that we've been talking about as an analogy of getting balance in your wealth creation plan. And as you know, there are the four roads to consider: earnings, cash, real estate, and your retirement plan. And as you so eloquently put together in your teeter-totter, these roads are best executed when they're integrated with the business plan and the stage of business that you're at. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Feel free to embellish as you might, and we'll get going. So I guess the first question is, imagine you're standing in the middle of the crossroads. You're eager to build personal wealth. You're 3 years into your business. You're getting the hang of it. What's the first path you should take?
Sure. So, to reference back to the teeter-totters, the first thing you need to do is make sure you have plenty of cash on hand. So as we build our cash reserves, that gives you the power to make more strategic decisions. Many people, especially folks that are really involved and passionate about real estate, want to own as much real estate as they can, but it's really hard to do that without some staying power, without some certainty around being able to meet your sort of operating expenses. So the first thing you want to do is have, bare minimum of 3 to 6 months of kind of operating expenses in cash. That's something you want to have at all times. And then as you start to get past that, those are dollars that can be allocated more strategically. Well, one of the things we've talked about a lot is, strategic allocation of capital. And so for folks that are earlier in their careers, as you're, sort of amassing assets that are going to appreciate over time, buying real estate is a great way to do that because you get a lot of leverage, right? If we put 20% down on the purchase of a property, if we put $100,000 down into a $500,000 property, we're going to own that for the next 30 years. $500,000 is what we get our returns on, not the 100. And so, pairing debt strategically with assets that appreciate is a great first step.
Yeah. So just kind of off of that, how do you advise your clients in terms of building a real estate portfolio? What steps do you like them to take in terms of assessing and building growth later on?
Well, there's a couple directions we could go here, and it kind of depends on the person, right? Try to look through the actual property to see what that piece of real estate is going to do for you. A lot of times with the people that we work with that are really heavily invested in real estate, we hear a lot about how great the property is, how it feels to be there, the neighborhood, those types of things. Those all matter and are important, but we feel like a good real estate buyer and owner can find a property that also has really good cash flow, doesn't carry a lot of risk with it. We want you to look at the numbers. Like if you have $100,000 to buy a property, what's your return on equity for that property? And for the first, I don't know how many years, but it's a lot of years, right? Most of the return that you're getting is being reinvested in the property, either in the form of like a renovation, paying down the mortgage that's on there. Those are the types of things that really matter is, can you afford to carry it for the duration of the own?